Before I understood myself, the church had already decided that I was wrong. Before I knew I was gay, before I knew what homosexuality was the name of it, I was already condemned. And this happens to a lot of queer people, where sometimes some of us are in this place where we are trying to understand who we are and what we are doing. And you are in the church, you are constantly being told that who you are is wrong, that you are going to go to hell, and you are there every day. I grew up in a home that is extremely religious, a Christian Igbo home. I was raised Catholic. It was the norm to wake up every morning at 5 o'clock, sometimes at 4, when I was in primary school, for us to pray before my parents go to work. I was never that child that complied most of the times, but I was forced to do this. And then you go to Sunday services, you go to churches every day, you hear pastors, you hear priests. Of course, I wasn't someone that went to Pentecostal churches, but you go to all of these churches, you see reverend fathers talk about gay people, they condemn you, even if they don't mention it. You hear things amongst people around who say horrible things. Church wasn't optional. You do not have any option. You have to go to church, whether you like it or not. In as much as I rebelled a lot, at the time I didn't really have any reason. But the reason I had in my head was, I do not enjoy this. I do not enjoy going to pray every day. I do not like to pray. I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to go to a church. You are raised to be respectful, to not have a say in most cases when adults are speaking to you. What is happening in a lot of our societies, and I'm talking about Africa and people of African descent and black people, is that whatever the pastors, reverends say is true. A lot of our parents don't get to challenge these things. It just feels like a lot of them don't have critical thinking anymore, because everything that was said is what was said and you need to respect it. And fear is used every time. You have to have the fear of God. This is why sometimes you see some women who will be looking for a husband. They will be like, I want a man that has the fear of God. Why should a man have the fear of God? It does not make any sense at all. Why should you fear God? Because what's happening here is that you are made to be scared, to be fearful, to fear the wrath of God, to think that you are a sinner, for you not to challenge anything whatsoever. And you see this across the board. Up until now, people, when you are speaking to them and you say something about their so-called religion or their church, they'll be like, why are you talking about God like this? And I'm like, nobody is disrespecting God. It is you, because you are aggressive with the way you deal with people, with the way you deal with queer people, especially because you are constantly saying to us that we are going to go to hell. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I said to them, the way I see how we've been raised, it just feels like some of these so-called men of God, the reverend fathers, the pastors, have shaped morality, identity, and fear. This is the reason why some of our people actually do not understand the difference between inherited identity and inherited prejudice, because they will say to you, oh, God said this, God said this. And every time when you speak to some people, literally what they are talking about is the God of Abraham. Because if you don't believe in that, if you are a Yoruba man, or you are someone from Calabar in Nigeria, or you're from Cameroon, and you say to them, oh, I believe in the God of my ancestors, I believe in my ancestors and my culture and the gods and all of these things, all of a sudden you are demonic, because you are not using the holy water, you are not using the Bible, you are not using rosary, you are not a good person, which means that you are evil. And this is something that a lot of our people need to start unlearning. Knowing what I know today, I am going to live my life the way I want to live my life. When you are a gay person, when you are queer, you're going to have a lot of conflict in your head when you constantly hear messages that are saying to you that you are horrible, that you are sinful, that you are going to go to hell, that God will punish you for loving someone of the same sex. That is a massive conflict that we carry in our heads into our adulthood. And that is something that I worked on, and I continue to reparent myself in so many ways, and I continue to understand and unlearn so many things. Now I do know that I'm not a sinner, that I'm not sinful. Hearing messages like this can be really, really debilitating. It can be really horrible. It can tear you down. It is never a good thing, because when you continue to hear preachings in churches and around you that continues to tell you that queer people, gay people, lesbians, LGBTQIA plus individuals are sinful, are possessed, are evil, you begin to internalize that. You can get into your adulthood and believe that that is your truth. Those messages are extremely harmful. This is horrible because you're standing there, you're sitting there in this environment, and you're listening to a lot of these things, and something inside of you will be questioning yourself because you are trying to live your life that you haven't chosen for yourself, and you're sitting there constantly hearing people telling you how you are wrong. Do you know what that does to a human being? You don't have any space to ask any questions. You are not allowed to challenge anything. You are not allowed to think, to question. All you need to do is obey. All you need to do is hide who you are to fit in. That is when we begin to tumble. Our trauma starts from childhood because of this. A lot of people who grew up in religious households and environments face things like this, because literally majority of these places are not safe for young queer people, and you are in most cases in a household where your parents don't know better, where your parents obey everything their man of God says to them, where your parents accept that whatever the pastor says is final. A lot of us tend to live the whole of our life not being able to get away from this mental torture. That is why you see some people in their later years, even in their late 60s, that are still struggling with their sexuality. If you are not careful and start to unlearn some of the things that you've learned, you are going to live a lifetime being in mental prison, and that can be depressing, that can be horrible, and your mental health can massively suffer from this. I have a friend. I met him in Kano when I was in primary school. I was about to start secondary school, and he's gay. We are still friends up until today. We went to this particular Catholic church in Kano called Our Lady of Fatima Catholic Church. We went there together. I was in a Boy Scout, I know, at the time. I remember one time we went to a particular fellowship together. I can't remember what it's called now. And they were saying so many things without really actually saying the name. That was when we started realizing, we were looking at each other. They are talking about us. This is who I am. They are really, really talking about us. I had a moment of realization. I don't even know if I have shared this before. And we kept saying to ourselves, we are wrong. But we did not really understand how to say this because of the age we were at the time. I remember my friend one time saying to me, I will start going to church because I will need to be praying, because this needs to be prayed away. I was never someone that tried to pray away anything. I was in a religious home. I was never ever extremely religious. I never felt like I need to pray it away, but I felt like it was a sin. My friend, up until today, still feels homosexuality is a sin. Still feels that being gay is a sin. I had a conversation with him one time when something was going on that was wrong, and the things they said, that they felt that everything that is happening to them is because of who they are. They feel like that. They are still hiding. Nobody is going to ever know about them. Sometimes he gets really, really angry at me for being who I am and living my life openly, because it makes him uncomfortable. This is somebody I love dearly and will continue to love no matter what. He would never, never, ever not be my friend. And we go through this from time to time. The reason why I'm sharing this is that you get to a point in your life where you realize that you shouldn't bend yourself backwards. At that point in time, when this was happening to us, I began suppressing myself. I began repressing. I began to deny myself. I began to tell myself that this is wrong. And I carried that into my adulthood because I was hiding. Moving to the UK, I had this situation sometimes where I will go to places and I see a black person. I will automatically think that they will know my family. It was a mental torture. This is what years of conditioning did, because you continue to hear that you are wrong. So now you are denying yourself. You are suppressing yourself. You are saying that this is wrong. I'm not going to do this. You develop shame. You want approval and acceptance because you don't want to be rejected. You don't want to never ever be in your community, never ever be with your people. And that is something that I try as much as possible today, because there was nobody like me that spoke, that showed me that who I am is not wrong. The number of times I wished that my person, the urge, who I am, should disappear. And they never did. Here I am today, still a homosexual, and I'm living my life with my full chest. The emotional torture of struggling with who you are when you are in a church or when you are in an environment where people say to you that you are wrong is massive. You have this deep guilt. This deep guilt is not just for what you feel, but for who you are. And this is something that continues to happen to a lot of queer people. You begin to have the fear of God, hell, and rejection. This is why a lot of the times when people speak to you as a queer person, they will say to you that you are going to go to hell. God will punish you. It will not be better for you. Like the way Nigerians say it and a lot of African people, it no go better for you. You hear this a lot of the times. Sometimes you hear things like, you are a wasted 9 months. It would have been better if your parents aborted you, if you died at birth. These are things people say to you that are supposed to be religious people, that are supposed to be people who go to church. A lot of us queer people live with this constant fear, and that should stop. I remember someone saying to me that they feel spiritually broken and unclean because of who they are. And I said to them, how did this come about? What happened? Who said this to you? And they said, yeah, because of the way things have happened, what was said, the things they picked up growing up, that they feel like they are unclean, that they are not worthy of anything, that they are not worthy of any blessing. And I said to them that this is wrong. This is why representation, visibility matters a lot, because the more people see that it is okay for you to be who you are, the better it is for queer people. Religion is a massive tool to control. It shapes cultural beliefs. That is why a lot of people in Africa tend to conflate religion and culture. They just don't understand the difference anymore. That is the problem we are facing today. A lot of people do not understand the difference between faith as control and faith as guidance. Any belief system that tells you that you are a sinner, that you are wrong, that you are not worthy, that is not spiritual. That is not somewhere you want to be. That is not a place for you. A lot of people who are queer tend to want to be in community with people who literally want them to die. If you are in a place where you are constantly told that you are wrong, that place is not for you. It is not spiritual. You need to question that. God created everybody. God created gay people, straight people, women, men. God created everybody. And understanding that being gay is not a choice, because nobody is going to choose to be hated, to be disliked, to be spoken to and disgraced the way some of these people speak to us on a daily basis. There is a lot of silence around sexuality. This silence reinforces fear. That is why a lot of people fear homosexuality. They don't want to have conversations about it. This is why some of them think it's unnatural, but that is not the case. Being gay is natural. You should continue to live your life. I wasn't just taught that being gay was wrong. I was taught that I was wrong. I was told that I was wrong, and I heard this constantly growing up. Unlearning that has been one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. It has been one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. I do a lot of unlearning on a daily basis. I say this to a lot of people that I come across who are queer, who are gay, that are struggling. I say to them that you need to unlearn on a daily basis, because you've been raised to believe that who you are is sinful, who you are is wrong, who you are is not clean, who you are is going to go to hell. Unlearning some of the things you've been taught will make life a lot easier for you. You are not wrong. You are not a mistake. You are not a taboo. You are wonderful. Let love lead the way. Love is love. I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful time.